One of my favorite things about doing these shows with you is because you're on infrequently enough that you don't see all of the like videos and shit. Like, watching your face react, like, what have they created now? What is this thing they've made? But yeah,
Well, no, I've seen that already. Remember a
okay,
couple weeks ago when I did this way.
okay. Well, it is very strong anyway. Jack Crosby, how are you today, pal?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Doing great. You and I were just, we were enjoying the victorious, and I don't even mean in terms of draft winner and loser. I just mean last night was a lot of fun. You and I were just talking about it, right? It was a hell of a time over there on Twitch. It was a good time, or here on Twitch, I should say.
That was so much fun. Like you said off air, like as long as you don't oversaturate it, like doing drafts they're fun as shit, man.
They absolutely are. And we had like 70 live viewers the whole time. Like our retention thing is literally a straight line. People just stuck with us, which is wild. We've been doing this for long enough to know it's pretty damn good. So thanks for everyone that showed up last night. If you haven't seen it already, it's over on YouTube now. The encore presentation aired this morning, Jack. It's a phrase I now use every day. Very funny. But we're here to talk Dynamite, right, Jack? We've got a lot to talk about, and we're going to talk Double or Nothing kind of broadly too. You and I were just getting into it in our unofficial pre-show. This is an interesting time. Jack, we are 4 days away from Double or Nothing. And I get the sense, just from talking to you, that you're in a similar spot to me of, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not quite where I want to be. Speak to that a little bit, Jack. Go ahead.
Like, we've asked the question before, and I think like Shoot and I have too. Like, what is AEW's version of WrestleMania? And like maybe some people could say it's Double or Nothing. Like Double or Nothing, you could maybe say that because that's really the staple show of the company because it was the first one. But then some people say All Out is, and whatever. Like here nor there, whatever. But still, the fact is that, like I said, Double or Nothing is a staple show of this company, and they've it's weird because in a month, literally less than a month, you have the New Japan show, the Forbidden Door. And I get that the Forbidden Door theoretically should not involve like AEW television storylines. It's just a super show. Like that's really what it's supposed to be. But because it's the first, because it's been something people have been waiting for ever since AEW came to be, like, one of the things people wanted when AEW came into existence 3 years ago was work with New Japan. And we want a super show where you're getting that now. But now, because of the placement on the calendar, there's no way around it. It is taken away from Double or Nothing a little bit. Like my attention is diverting to the New Japan show a little bit more.
Yeah. Do you think part of that is though too, some of the matches on this Double or Nothing card are basically treated as just like, super card style. Like the Bucks Hardys thing, let's be honest, there's no build. They've just stared at each other a couple of times. Like it's a super, that's what they're doing. It's a dream match.
I didn't like that. Like they announced that the other day. I'm scrolling through Instagram and I saw the announcement. I didn't watch Rampage.
Yeah.
I guess that's when they announced it was Friday. Well, I'm scrolling through and I see the graphic and I'm kind of like, all right, how did you go weeks knowing Double or Nothing was coming, knowing you're going to do the Bucks and the Hardys? And yeah, they've interacted a little bit here and there. But you could have done more to get the people a little more invested in, okay, we're going to do the Bucks and the Hardys.
I have to be honest, and I've said this before, I think I may be on my own on this. I don't know where you're at with Jack, but I also struggle a little bit with the way it's slightly been treated as though they've never wrestled. And it's like, they've absolutely wrestled like multiple times. I get it's a bigger stage, but come on, man. It ain't exactly, uncharted territory. But maybe I'm overthinking it, I'm not sure.
And I mean, the ladder match between the two and ROH is one of the more famous ones because of the fact that the Hardys were going back to WWE.
Exactly, yeah.
Like within hours of that match. And then you get the story Matt Hardy told where Vince was calling and being like, hey, be careful. Like, be careful with those guys. Like, we heard about them.
And that's 5 years ago. you know?
That's insane to think about. That's 5 years ago.
It's just, that's all. I mean, I'll be honest. Reese says it legitimately. I actually think it's likely the match will be really good. I really do.
Let's get something straight. We both agree that match is going to be awesome.
Yeah, they won't let that be bad. No,
it'll be incredible. Which then again goes back to what we said of, come on, you could have built this a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. It is interesting. In terms of the build, this is a nice way to transition to Dynamite. Tonight there is a big face-to-face segment with Punk and Hangman. And there's been a lot of conversation about this build. Some are all in on it, some are all out on it. I find myself in the middle, a little bit unsure. I think they could do more, but I like what they've done. Jack, where do you stand on the build so far before we get into tonight's face-to-face segment for Punk and Hangman?
Not the best. Not the best for CM Punk, and pretty much like we talk about the pillars in AEW. But I mean, Hangman Page he's the guy. There's no doubt about that. Hangman is the guy. And you have him facing CM Punk again on one of your staple shows, and it just kind of feels it's felt off from the beginning. Like something's not right here.
I'm really intrigued by this whole thing because my take on it is what they've done has been good, but it sure feels like they could be doing like more. You know, it should feel like the biggest match they've ever run, and I don't think it feels like that. Oh, it just feels like a title match.
This absolutely should feel like the biggest thing they've done in 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the guy. See, first you have CM Punk. He's CM Punk.
Exactly. Yes.
Then your world champion is the guy who took a 2-year journey to beat Kenny Omega of all people for the world championship. Like, it's just there should be more here. There should be more.
Yeah, I'm with you now. I do think some people in the chat are saying it. I think they may be correct. I think they may be taking it kind of slow and easy because this is the first of a series of matches, which is, could be a thing, right? But
yeah, it could.
But man,
because I felt for the longest time that this match goes one of two ways. It goes Hangman just beats him, and because it just adds to his resume, which is insane. Danielson, Omega, Punk, and you're like, holy shit! So it looks better when MJF takes the title from Hangman, another one of your guys. Or option B, which I'm really leaning towards, is that Punk 3/4 of the way through the match realizes, because Punk has been big on I am at this level. I can still do this. Well, Punk 3/4 of the way through the match realizes, I can't beat this guy. I can't beat the world champion. Punk turns heel. So then you give Hangman another chase. So yeah, like to that respect, maybe there is going to be more with these two, where Punk turns heel to take the title, and then Hangman goes, okay, well, all right, I have to chase again. All right.
Yeah, I agree. I think Punk turning heel has always been a very interesting possibility. I do fear by having Hangman lean that way, though,
I think Hangman leaning that way is a smokescreen.
Yeah.
To make you think Hangman's the one going heel, and Punk is the clear-cut baby face here, and then Punk is the one who takes the shortcut on Sunday.
But do you not think that could, because I agree with you, that's what it could be intended as. I do fear, though, that could, kind of backfire if you're not very careful. Very, very careful.
Part of me would wonder and be a little afraid, you're right, of if Punk turns heel with an AEW audience, are they going to cheer him more?
Especially
are they going to get behind a heel CM Punk?
Here's the thing too, and this is the big X factor tonight in terms of the segment they're going to do on Dynamite, is like, if Hangman is like talking shit again and he's being kind of the dick of the pair of them, even though you can frame it as Punk's full of it and he's putting up a facade, if Hangman's the one that's inciting, like, brother, you got to be very careful that when Punk turns, the live crowd doesn't just say shit, you get what you get, right, as Bobby would say. So that's a factor here, man. I think it's interesting. The match has my full attention, and I can't wait for it. I do agree, though, that it feels like it should be massive, and it instead just feels like a big match.
This is one of those matches where I get like a wrestling card top to bottom. You're supposed to be excited about a lot of things, but this should be a card, all due respect to everyone else on the card, where we just kind of like, all right, that other stuff is good, but that's what we want. This like that last match, like that's what we're here for. That's why we're paying the money. This should be a match where you're not paying $50 for the whole card. You're paying $50 because you need to see CM Punk and Hangman Page.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting. I do think we're going to find out a lot here in terms of, let's see where the crowd is at. You know, that'll be a good insight because after 3.5 hours, 4 hours of wrestling, we'll find out how much the crowd really, really was. I get the sense they'll be in, but we'll see, right?
This is another card. This is like what 12 matches. I went, holy shit. And unapologetic. I don't like that at all. I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not a fan of these pay-per-views. Man, I'm just not. Like the length, I mean. I'm a fan of the shows, but like when we're pushing midnight, baby, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God. And this was before I had a kid, too. This was before a kid. Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't bother me, but I do get it. This show will be interesting in terms of how it's paced because I don't think there's that many matches that are going to need a lot of time. So you should get a lot of stuff that's in the 10 to 12 range, I think, but we will see. Gut feeling, Jack, who leans heel tonight in this segment? Does Punk go that way or Hangman continues to, do you think?
Hangman.
Okay.
He's going to keep going.
I think we all agree that, like, this needs to be a home run, this segment, right? This segment's got to do it. It's got to do it.
I think it will be. Like, Hangman's not as bad of a talker as some people try to say he is.
He's become pretty good as of late, right?
He's really developed in that, which is a testament to him because, like, he knew he was going to be the world champion. So that seems like something he knew he had to work on. Like, if I'm going to be the world champion, I have to start talking better. And he did do that. And Punk will do a great job carrying most of the thing. I think it'll be good.
It is worth noting that, like, I sometimes forget, but once upon a time, Hangman, that was like a huge knock on him, right? Like he wasn't a promo at all, and he didn't have personality. And now he does like in-ring promos, and they rock, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's come a long way in that regard. Okay, let's look elsewhere here. So, Jack, here's the matches we have tonight. We have Tony Storm and Britt Baker. We have Samoa Joe, Kyle O'Reilly. We have Jungle Boy, Swerve, and Ricky Starks. FTR versus Roppongi Vice and the Shawn Spears Wardlow situation. Which of those matches has most got your attention tonight, Jack?
Kyle O'Reilly and Joe.
That's interesting. Explain.
You know, because I really want to see what they're going to do here. Because from the beginning of this, before it even, like when the qualifying matches started, one thing I swear I knew for certain in my head, I said, Adam Cole's winning this tournament.
Yeah.
He's winning the men's side. I don't know about the women. I said, Adam Cole's winning this men's tournament. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're going to, like, it seems like we're going to have more of that nonsense. I think Kyle advances.
I do too.
But
how do you feel about that?
He doesn't be, but then I'm thinking, well, that's where it gets interesting for me because I think Kyle advances because we're going to have more of the Jay Lethal nonsense with Joe that cost him the match.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle moves on. But then I'm thinking they really like to go out of their way to honor Owen Hart. Now I'm starting to think to myself, well, now, wait a minute. Maybe Kyle O'Reilly is the perfect winner for the men's side of this tournament. Maybe it's not Adam. Maybe it's Kyle.
See, this is my thing here, is if Kyle was beating Joe, it does feel like he should just kind of win the tournament, doesn't it?
Right. It's like, how can you... that's where I'll give him, and yeah, the comments are right and shit. Like, yes, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole would be a huge rib on us.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. That would be a huge rib. Yeah, and I know you're a bigger Cole fan than I am, but I think even you're not desperate to see him wrestle O'Reilly again. Like that's kind of, you know.
No, but again, that's where it gets real interesting for me because I think Kyle wins, and then I really wonder, like, am I so sure that Adam Cole just wins this tournament?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. Quickly before we return to this, because Bill brings it up and I'd forgotten. Jack, have you seen the Chris Hero's reaction to us rating him?
I heard it last night. I didn't see it.
Yes,
remember, I heard it. I was still on. And then he asked what the late night grin is.
Yes, and then they mentioned that we reviewed his match with Regal on Monday, and he started like telling stories from it, and Regal legitimately like fucked his finger up, like his finger's all bent and shit, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm still got the battle scars, brother." God bless him, man. Chris Hero.
I'm telling you, I am legitimately shocked that Chris Hero has not shown up in AEW yet.
I
really, really thought that.
Yeah.
And I don't care what his weight. I don't care what his weight is. Did you see what that man, Chris Hero? Like, people made fun of him when he was in NXT with the weight and how he looked. And I said, watch the dude. If he could wrestle looking like he looks. That's a test. Do you know how great that man is at this professional wrestling thing?
He's one of the best wrestlers of the last 20 years. Has to be.
There's no question about it.
Yeah. I think he'll show up. I just think he's been very picky about what he wants to do. I think he wants to take his time and I think I think he'll show up at some point. Maybe as a guest, do like a one-off or something. Because I think there was talk that I think Jericho said he was pitched as one of the labors of Jericho. Remember that? He was pitched one of those spots.
I think actually during that, I think that was one of the times I thought, okay, this is when Chris is going to show up. This is when he's going to show up. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll happen at some point. I hope so anyway. Okay, back to this Joe O'Reilly match. Firstly, I'm pretty confident in this being good, Jack, I must say. I think these two stylistically are a good match for each other. They had a nice match in Ring of Honor in 2015, but to be totally real, I've said this before, Joe needs that audience to be, kind of a certain level of excitement to really get him going. And to his, bro, AEW crowds have gone nuts for Joe so far.
They've lost their minds, man.
You and I said that, right? I remember we had a conversation off the air when the Cody thing went down, and Jack and I both was like,
which is why every week I'm kind of like, all right, can we move on from this Jay Lethal Sanjay Dutt shit?
Oh, bro, tell me about it.
Can we just move on from this now? Because Joe's been friends with them both for so long, I'm sure he's okay doing it. And I know he's been friends with Jay for over 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And same thing with Dutt. Like I get it. He's probably like, all right, I get to work with my two buddies here. Like that's okay. But us as fans, you got to be a little selfish. It's like, all right, can we just move on here?
It feels like because I don't know how long we've got of Joe being active.
Right,
it just feels like a waste of that time.
And I know some people might disagree. I think there is a small window for Samoa Joe, AEW World Champion.
There may be. I don't know if we'll get it, but I get
you. You have to sneak through there before the window completely shuts.
Do you not think it's more likely he gets the Ring of Honor title back? That feels like what I think they'll do.
Well,
I think that's what they'll do.
I wish we'd learn more about Tony's plans for Ring of Honor, because then you can start piecing that together a little bit.
He wishes he'd know more about his plans too, I think. It's a bit of a process right now, but I don't know. Yeah, I think he'll get the Ring of Honor title. But as for this match, my read on this, Jack, is that if Joe was going to the final, I wouldn't have done the lethal attack last week. No. To me, that was a big-time clue. They attacked his arm. Kyle won with an arm bar.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like O'Reilly's winning this thing, and I'm awful torn about that. But
you get what you get. That's one thing. Well, look at it. You know what, Joe? Look at it this way. I would rather have Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole on a 12-match, 5-hour, whatever pay-per-view card than putting 15 minutes of it into a 2-hour edition of Dynamite.
That's fair.
Think of it that way.
That's fair. And again, it's worth reiterating. I don't think either of us think this match will be anything short of very good if it happens. I just don't think we're desperate to see it, right? I think that's the key here.
Well, I get what you're saying. You want to tell AEW, hey, don't give us something that NXT shoved down everyone's throats for 6 months, whatever it was.
Yeah. They also had a really long Ring of Honor situation too. They were tag partners and split, and then I don't know, man. It's not very exciting, but that is what it is. Okay. Elsewhere, I want to let's go to the other Owen semi-final. Your third pick last night, Tony Storm against Britt Baker, DMD. Man, it feels like this is a big one in terms of result, Jack. It feels like Tony needs to win this one, doesn't it?
Tony's going to win this one. And again, my logic is I'm still leaving the door open for Adam to win the men's Owen Hart Cup. I'm still they're not going to do Adam and Brit. They're not going to do that.
But could they do a thing where they both make the finals and they make a point of the fact that one of them loses? Because that feels in play to me, I have to say.
I mean, they could, but no, I really think it really feels to me like AEW is all in on Tony Storm. I really think they're all in on Tony. And Britt, Britt's really good friend. Britt loves her. Britt's wanted her in there for how long? I think Britt will do the nice thing here. And
are you not slightly concerned that Tony pinning Brit in that Rampage tag could be an indication of some 50-50 business?
If we were watching WWE, I'd be a little more concerned. But not with this. They'll gladly throw Tony back out there to pin her again.
I just have because who do you think? So on the other semifinal is Ruby and Chris, right? On Rampage. So they're both baby faces. And I'm fearful. Jack Crosby, I'm fearful that old DMD is gonna win this one. I really think there's a chance. And I think they want her on the pay-per-view card. I don't know, man. I get the sense it's gonna be like Chris or Ruby versus Brit. I'm not even picking it. I feel like it's very possible, more than we're currently thinking.
I think Chris versus Tony.
That match should be very good.
I think we're going to do Chris because they're pushing Chris. They're pushing Statlander pretty hard now too with this new gimmick. Yeah. So this is a perfect a tournament. This is also a reason. This is how you do wrestling tournaments the right way. This is how you make the fans feel someone is important without having to sacrifice the validity of a world title. You get where I'm going there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you don't have to slap a title on someone to show the fans they're important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You take a tournament situation like this, and that's how you show the fans, okay, we're serious about this person, like Statlander and Tony. That's why I figured that'll be, but then what you have to do though, if she's going to beat Ruby, then you kind of have to take a step back with Ruby.
Yeah, that's what concerns me.
You have to take a step back because it hasn't been great. I really thought that at the Grand Slam last year, I thought she was going to take that title off Brit.
Kind of think she should have.
In New York. And then when she didn't, I went, okay, well, that's one. Now it's been kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to have to give her another loss here and then kind of take a step back and rehab her, which you can do. Like she's not buried or anything.
Is it fair to say that the final four in the women's Owen is like legitimately more interesting, quite comfortably so than the men's side of things? And I love Samoa Joe, but I think any of these four women can win it. Honestly, I don't feel like that lineup's a lot more fun. I feel.
Yeah, cool. They did a good job, but they did a really good job with the women.
Like if you look at the chat, we're literally got like a complete divide in terms of who's winning these matches, especially on the other side. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. I mean, it tells you. I've often said this. When they do like the casino battle royale deals, it's like the women's ones are more intriguing because Tony isn't as scared of like putting the top women in matches where they'll lose. So you get like the actual division is in. With the dudes, it's like it's the job squad and a couple of top guys. So it's definitely a thing. I am intrigued before we move on here. I agree with a lot of what you said about the booking of this tournament. I've been pretty consistent on other shows though about I wanted the presentation to be more special. Has that been a problem for you, or have you not been, are you fine with how they've kind of handled the Owen from a TV perspective?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, what else? I don't know. What else could they have done? I just,
good.
Like a King of the Ring type show.
Do you think it's limited slightly by the fact that it's like in the middle of a pay-per-view build? Like they can only do so much within episodes of Dynamite, right? It's not like it doesn't feel separate because it can't be. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, the only other option you maybe could have done is like called up TBS or TNT and said, we want to run a 2-hour special on a Saturday, it'd be like that, like it's our Owen Hart tournament special.
Right. My ideal was like if they could have, even if they couldn't do that, maybe they could have like blocked out 2 weeks of Dynamite, and that's like the Owen Hart season, and it's just right. Tournament matches, and it's because I think with how much content they produce, I think it would be cool to have that kind of stuff, where you can look forward to that. Double or Nothing, it limits what you can do in the sense that like it has to only just be a part of the build, right? Like it has to be. You can't just be like, we can't do Punk Hangman stuff. The Owen's on, but I don't know. I just wish it was more special, more lucrative. I wish it felt like they're like G1 or whatever the equivalent is. I don't know. It is what it is. More tournaments in general, though, Jake, is my suggestion. What about you? Give me more tournaments.
Again, like it's an AEW, like this show, like we just talked about it. Like they know how to do tournaments.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like if you know how to do them for professional wrestling, they're great.
They are. I hope we get a tag one at some point. A Crockett Cup-esque.
That would be.
Could you imagine? They could go like 16 teams deep too.
That would be. Yeah. See, that would be awesome. I'd be in on that.
Yeah. They're gonna do the trios one for sure when they get the belt.
I don't want those goddamn trios titles, man.
Wow, why, Jack Crosby?
I hate trios titles. I hate them.
Well, this seems aggressive. Okay, explain yourself, Jack Crosby.
I just don't like them because, like, sometimes, especially nowadays in pro wrestling, and yeah, I get that AEW does tag teams well, but then you run into it where you're just slapping three people together for the sake of slapping three people together. I don't see it. It could start off the right way with Kenny in the Bucks and House of Black and shit, but that shit will fall off a cliff fast, man. And I like titles. I don't want trio titles. Absolutely not.
Bro, you said especially nowadays. You sound like sounded like a professional wrestling veteran, disgusted at where the industry has gone.
Fucking Greg Gagne here with my pencil. Listen,
bro, I'm telling you.
Listen.
We don't need him. We do not need.
We don't need. I told them. I went into the office. I said, Tone, we don't need them.
I'm on the other side. I think those belts are gonna fucking rule, Jack Crosby. I think they're gonna prove you wrong on that front. I just think.
Prove me wrong, but. And again, it's going to start out. It's going to start out well.
Yeah.
Maybe a year it'll start out, but like, make those titles matter in like 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm. I understand you, but I think I don't know. I kind of lenient with how much they matter. I just think they can be a really fun like TV. You use them for TV main events and stuff. Man, I think that could be a big addition, but we'll see. Speaking of additions to the format, the rare triple threat match tonight on Dynamite. I don't know if have they ever done a triple threat on Dynamite?
I don't know. They probably have, but I don't remember. I can't remember one recently.
And this is a hell of a lineup. Jungle Boy, Swerve, Ricky Starks. Let's talk about this whole tag title situation. Jay, I've loved this Team Taz, Keith Swerve feud.
Yeah.
Granted, the tag champs are kind of attached, but like, man, I think those four guys have been killing it. Where have you been at on this whole kind of scene, so to speak?
I just want Christian to beat the absolute shit out of Jungle Boy already. I just want him to beat the shit out of that kid. And it's coming on Sunday. And oh god, I was just watching it the other. Like it's going to be so perfect because 1 year ago, Jungle Boy eliminates Christian at Double or Nothing. They hug in the middle of the ring. And at the same show, Christian's going to beat the absolute dog shit out of that kid for failing again. He's going to kick the shit out of that kid. And then once again, everyone's going to see that Christian is greater than Edge.
Factual. Okay, so we all agree.
He's going to kill that kid.
They can't keep the belts on Sunday, right?
They're not going. They're not going to, and that's where the Christian and Jungle Boy's going to take the pin.
So do we think whoever this is now? Granted, I know this sounds like WWE booking, but I think it makes sense here. If Swerve wins tonight, Team Taz are winning the belts, right?
Yes.
If Ricky wins tonight, Swerve and Keith are getting the belts.
Yeah,
is that fair?
And you know what? I think I'm kind of leaning towards giving Swerve and Keith those belts for a little bit.
I am so torn on this because, like, I think they're an incredible act together, and in a vacuum, I agree, but I don't want to go to babyface champs again, because you went Lucha Bros, Jurassic Express, and then you go there. I think you need to go heels. I think you need to go Team Taz. Ricky with 2 belts. Can you imagine him with 2 belts, bro? He would be incredible with that.
Yeah, Ricky 2 belts would be. Yeah. But God, I'm just so ready for Ricky Starks to break out, man.
Yeah,
I'm so ready for it. And
I think it's a good shot, though. It's a good chance for him to. I think it's something different, but I get what you mean. Like imagine them feuding with FTR. Imagine them feuding with Blackpool Combat Club. Like, man,
there's a lot of things you can do.
There is. Speaking of things you can do with a major platform such as this, it is 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It is 3:30 here in Britain. That means one thing, Jack. It is time for the Bert Line News from Bobby O'Neill. Bobby, take us away, pal.
Thanks, Joe. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. Robert O'Neill here with the Bert Line News. Just 2 games to focus on today. We have the Boston Celtics Miami Heat returning to Miami for Game 5 of the NBA, and then switching gears to the NHL because we had one series end already. The The St. Louis Blues and Colorado Avalanche will be in action, and we are going to go Avalanche -1.5 is the lock of the day. NHL's been really good this week to us, and we're going to keep riding it. Yeah, that's it for me. Thanks.
Wow.
Talking about fucking hockey. What is this guy doing?
Have you been swayed at all on him potentially joining the team over at CBS and like doing TV spots? Have you been swayed? You've seen it twice.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, fair. All right, well, I always ask on Bob's behalf. Did you notice that it was interesting what he had going with his T-shirt? Did you see that?
No, I didn't even notice a
He
T-shirt.
was so the one side it looked like he'd been sort of attacked in some way. I don't know what he's getting up to over there, but it was really quite graphic looking. Anyway, let's get back to this tag title situation. This triple threat's going to be awesome. I think we're all kind of confident of that. Which match do you think will be better, tonight's triple threat or Sunday's tag triple threat?
Tonight's triple threat.
Yeah, me too. It's a little bit easier to put together, right?
Those three guys, man.
You're a big Swerve fan, right? I'm right in saying?
I think that Shane Strickland, I have thought for a long time, that Shane Strickland is a world champion that you can have for your company that can really, really make a difference. And WWE, I'm telling you, you say this about a lot of people, but I don't. But that's one of their biggest misses in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Having Shane Strickland under contract and completely fumbling the bag. They fumbled that bag something fierce with him.
Let's talk about this because I think it's interesting. He is a great example to me of where the intangibles are what make him special.
Yep.
He's a good promo and he has good matches, but that isn't what we're actually talking about with Swerve, right? We get the sense he could be an actual star. He could be a guy that really connects with people in a major way.
It's no shock that it came out after they signed him that Tony Khan went to talk to the Warner Media executives and they're talking about his own show for this guy. And I'm like, okay, they get it. These people get it.
Yeah.
Like they get what they have here.
Yeah, there's definitely something there. I think he has been a really interesting watch in AEW in that this is his first shot at being like treated this way.
Yep.
When he went to NXT, they were signing 10 guys a week, right? It was where it was. They brought him into AEW as a major acquisition. They gave him the big Tony Schiavone introduction. And I think watching him figure out the best way to play that has been interesting. He is clearly shooting for being a top star. You look at his presentation, the way he carries himself, and I think we've seen even just the 2-3 months he's been there, like he's getting more comfortable every week. This Keith Lee thing has brought out a charm in him that's perfect,
I get because the people are conditioned for like the WWE way of throwing two people together. But this thing with Keith, this was perfect because you're not going to put Shane. Shane's not in the world title picture right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, okay, what can we do with him to keep him relevant? And neither is Keith. And you're like, well, now what? Now, wait a minute. These guys have a history together.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put them together for a little bit and we're going to feature them. We're going to feature both of them. And they're both going to have their time to shine.
Yep.
But we're going to feature them now, keep them busy, but also keep them in the fans' eyes as something important.
Absolutely. And, alongside that is I think it helps Keith a lot that he can kind of take his time in terms of getting where he needs to be physically, right? I mean, I think it's a great benefit to him that he can do the stuff that he's extraordinary at in terms of the hot tag.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about doing a 25-minute match because the crowd, because the promoter needs him to. Like it's just a perfect match. And I've said this before. I think Keith genuinely makes Swerve more likable because he's kind of like his little brother. I don't know, man. There's a really fun dynamic to this. Now I do have to ask. I think it's a fun little game here. In chat, you can get involved, and I'll try and throw some of your answers on the screen. Big board style, Jake. We did a draft last night. Starting a promotion with any of these three guys. Give me your order: Swerve, Starks, Jungle Boy. That's a hell of a trio, isn't it? What order are we going here?
Swerve, Starks, Jungle Boy.
Yeah,
the order in which you just gave them. Yeah,
man.
But they're a really close 1, 2, 3.
I think Ricky may be my number one. Ricky is he's something special.
And the beauty part about this is I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, look, I'm interested in the chat.
Honestly, Swerve, Starks, Jungle. There's a Jungle Boy first.
Yeah, it seems like Jungle Boy is mostly Yeah, I think we're actually both big fans of his. I don't know if I'd have him above the other two guys,
Not
personally.
no, like the other two.
They're more dynamic. They have promo. They have a certain charisma that I just think is special. I don't know.
The presence when they walk through the curtain.
Yeah.
Like it's like you look at Swerve, you could imagine that AEW world title on him. You see Ricky instead of holding that FTW, you could picture him holding that AEW world title belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. You know what else too? The other thing, and I say this to someone that loves Jungle Boy, but the other issue is Ricky is a heel right now, who I know for a fact can get over huge as a babyface. I'm convinced of it. I've seen enough of him working babyface to know that he can do that.
He can do it.
But on Swerve's side, he's a babyface right now. I think we both know that dude is at his best as a heel. He is an incredible heel. Jungle Boy, we don't know yet, right? We just do not know what he's going to look like when because he can't be Jungle Boy forever. Right? It is what it is. So I think that's key. And this is true too. He's a lot younger than the other guys. So there you go. Jungle Boy, we both love us some Jungle Boy, but I just thought it was interesting. Okay. Speaking of guys that top the big board, Jack Crosby, Wardlow. Big night for him tonight. You were ahead of the curve on this Wardlow thing, frankly. I was never sure of him as like a top singles guy, but my God, he is over huge.
I knew it.
You said it.
We're wrong about a lot of things, right? But this is one where I'll say I just looked at I said there's something there with this guy. They're gonna let him loose, and it's gonna be Armageddon. And holy shit, man! And credit to MJF, he's done his part really well. No shocker there. Max has done a great job of making sure that Wardlow gets over. That he'll win. He'll obviously win tonight. And then the Max will get one up on him before Sunday. And I just hope that I think he's going to beat Max on Sunday. I think you have to have him beat Max. Then what I would do, I would just one of the few times I would have Tony just walk out there with a clipboard and a contract.
Yeah.
Slap it in front of Wardlow and go sign this. Can you imagine the pop if Tony walks out there with a clipboard and a contract and goes sign this, and Wardlow signs it like right on MJF or signs it and drops it on MJF.
Mm-hmm.
But don't feel bad for MJF because before this year's over, Max is going to be the world champion.
So here's the thing. I agree with you totally. That is the correct finish. Are we certain that is the finish, though? Or do we think this may have another chapter ahead? Because I do not know if this finishes on Sunday. And if it's not finishing,
I would say finish it. I would say finish it on Sunday. I honestly would.
Yeah.
This has been going on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And this thing's been like a breakup between these two. And it's been bubbling since last year. Think about all the times, even last year, we thought it was coming and it never did.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been a long time for sure.
Where Wardlow was sick of his bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd always kind of step back and
so
theoretically this has been a build almost a year. So just finish it on Sunday and then move along, and then you figure out which it's not going to be hard because Max is that type of heel. It's easy to get that world title on him.
Max is part of this. I think you're right. It's very easy to figure out. Assuming the contract stuff isn't a factor, right? I think he's fine. No one has any concern about MJF wherever he goes. I am intrigued though, Jack, what you do with Wardlow. If he wins on Sunday and gets that contract, how do you pace that push? Because it kind of feels like he should be like
people are going to want to see that world title on him.
Yeah,
a lot sooner than later. This
is the general response when I've asked this question. The TNT title, which obviously he was, had robbed from him when he wrestled Scorpio, right? And
it's
an interesting fit. I don't know where I stand on it. It makes sense, but I don't know if it's the right fit,
And in its existence, like the TNT title has been presented with some importance. I don't really like what they've done with it lately, but I mean, it's still an important title. But then again, there's just going to be some guys that you look at and you're going to go, they're above that. And someone like Wardlow is getting, you kind of look at him and go, he might be above that. And like, we want to see that big gold belt on him like soon.
Do you think So right now the TNT title, they're doing like the thing where they're basically all heels, which is the choice. Do you think there's a chance that's because they're getting ready to do that? Maybe the idea is Wardlow's just going to just slaughter them all, man. And they're all heels,
And if they do, then okay, I'm okay with that. And then you kind of maybe you can use Wardlow and the backing that in the star power that he has to make that title important again.
I just wonder what that reign looks like. Like, do you do squashes? I guess you should just do squashes, right? Fuck it. Why not?
Mean, imagine this, buddy. Imagine you slap that TNT title on Wardlow, right?
Yeah.
And then fucking Miro comes back looking for his TNT title.
Do a
little Wardlow Miro action in there.
I'm in such a weird place. I love this comparison, by the way. US title, Goldberg. That's a great comparison.
They could do that. And then, of course, you'd have to, do the whole unify because I don't want Wardlow to lose that title then.
Yeah, you have to eventually have him challenge for the world
unify
title.
And then say, all right, I'm giving up the TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Do that deal.
I'm in such a weird spot with Miro where, like, I want him back desperately, but every pitch I see or hear for him results in him ultimately losing that match, and I don't necessarily know how you handle it. When people be like, he should win the Battle Royal and wrestle Hangman, it's like, and then lose. Like, but then what do we do with it?
Yeah,
he's too good to just come back, and that's where I'm at with Miro. It's a weird spot. I don't know. I miss him very much. I will say that.
Do too. God, man, he was on a fucking heater, especially with those promos.
Yes. Yeah,
because those his in-ring work is great. Like I always love Miro in the ring is great.
Yeah,
but his promos were the stuff that really made you look at WWE and go, "What did you do? Like, how did you miss this?
Incredible.
How did you miss this?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Is he your favorite TNT champ we've had so far?
Yeah,
he's mine too. And I know people say like, "Oh, the matches wasn't as good as whoever at Derby's," but it's like he fucking ruled though. Listen to these promos.
He was a guy. It was, and maybe Wardlow could do the same. So maybe I'm wrong. Miro was really good at when he had that title. You looked at Miro and you're like, he could be AEW champion. But Miro was like, no. I care so much about this goddamn TNT title. It's all that matters to me in the world. It's like, oh, all right. Well, fuck that world title then, buddy. Okay. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you do give it to Wardlow, maybe he could do something like that where it's like, okay, he cares so much about being TNT champion for a little bit that.
I think what you do is you do title defenses on TV every week, and like the majority would be squashes, like 4 or 5 minutes, and then every once in a while someone would get Wardlow to like the 10-minute mark, and it would be a thing, like it would be dramatic. I do hope before we get there, I would like to see Scorpio get a shot at it. I feel like that poor dude's been TNT champ twice and has not had any opportunity to be the real TNT champion. It's such a shame. I don't know.
I'm not a fan of what they've done. I don't. That was so convoluted.
Yeah, it was bad. It's one of the weaker things they've done from booking perspective, Like I don't know what they're achieving. I don't get it.
And right at the point where you had people ready for babyface Scorpio, and I was pumped. Like, all right, then we're gonna do Ethan Page. And it's good. Like, this is gonna be great. Yeah. And then they're like, nope. And we're like, well, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird deal. Like, I thought their flip-flopping worked when they got to Philly and they did the ladder match. It worked because the crowd cheered Scorp. You did it. You did the hard part. Now do Scorpio's title run, and it's like they're immediately turning back heel. I don't know, man. It's a real shame. This is true. There is a lot of talk about him getting the Lakers themed TNT title. I've seen that. I haven't actually seen the belt, but I've seen a lot of talking about it. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
The real key is they give him a shot to, have good wrestling matches for it, right? That would be the real
goddamn run with it, man.
Yeah,
like an actual run.
Now, I do want to say before we move on from this Wardlow deal, because we haven't mentioned him once, bro. What a job Shawn Spears has done in this program.
That dude does not get enough credit, and I am convinced now that people that shit on him are just doing it because they think it's a cool thing to do.
Yeah,
Spears has done an amazing job.
He's really great in this role.
He is so good in this role.
And he's kind of taken seriously. But he's also comedy.
They've done, and by they it could be a combination of the booking, Spears' performance. He doesn't come across as Max's lackey. He comes across as his equal.
Yeah.
Like
it's
they're just
interesting.
Like they're just two equal douchebags.
Yeah, it's like, and I think part of that is because, to Max's credit, he never like treats him like shit.
No,
Ever.
no,
So
he doesn't.
even though we both know like MJF is the star and he doesn't actually care about Shawn Spears, he never treats him that way on screen. So it feels like they're just pals, right? Yeah, you're right.
That's where it's good. Like they're equal. They're just two douchebags.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good at it too.
And they're so good at it.
Absolutely. This is a good point actually about Scorpio. I think that's why they destroyed the belt, because they're getting a custom one. That makes sense. I wish they didn't have, Lambert carrying around the other belt before, because then, kind of make it more impactful. But, you get what you get. That does make sense, though. All right. Last thing here that's announced, Ring of Honor Tag Team titles, FTR, Roppongi Vice.
Ooh,
brother, I cannot wait for this one.
Shit. Gonna be good shit.
You and I are talking about Roppongi Vice being back. We're fired up, aren't we, Jack?
I love it. Roppongi Vice is great. This match is going to be great. I hope they give it a little bit of time. I understand you can't give them too much, but
right.
Man, yeah. Roppongi Vice and FTR. This is FTR. What? Where are we going to be with these two when the year ends? We're not even in June.
I know. It's really interesting.
We're not even in June. We didn't even have the New Japan show yet. Who the hell are those two going to wrestle from that Japan show?
Yeah, well.
What the hell is going on here?
It would be great if they had good tag champs over in New Japan, wouldn't it? We could do this.
At sometime in November or December, I swear to God, I'm going to be on the cage match for the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, and I'm going to be comparing. I'm gonna go full spreadsheet.
Not just on your own.
I'm gonna be in a full spreadsheet on my own, middle of the night, going, okay, an 87 R&R, okay, but then midnight.
Yeah.
But look at this, Briscoes, Roppongi Vice, like Young Bucks.
Honestly, like, I get why people get down on tag team wrestling, because like WWE is not good at it and shit, but like there's a handful of teams today that I think are some of the best teams ever, like comfortably so.
Because WWE's not good at it and shit.
Well, you know what I mean? You know when people, bro, seriously, you know when people be like, tag team wrestling's like, it's in the mud, It's like, well, no, they're just not good at it, right? Yeah, seriously, if we were doing a list, Jack Crosby, if we were doing a list, I'm absolutely having the Bucks on there. FTR are on there, and the Briscoes are on there. Those three are on any list, I think. And they're all active, Like, I mean, you and I talked that night, bro. That fucking Briscoes FTR match is like, I still can't get over it.
I still can't figure out if that's the best tag team match I've seen in my lifetime. Yeah. I think it might have been. That might have been the best tag team match I've seen in my life. And that from JJ right there. I need them to wrestle the Machine Guns.
You'll get that. They're doing indie stuff too. You'll get that. It may not be an AEW, but you'll get it.
I need them to wrestle Sabin and Shelley pronto.
You know the other one I think you're going to get? Kings of Wrestling. Hero and Claudio. I think you're going to get that too.
Fuck.
They want to wrestle all these teams, man. Your reaction ruled.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, the time splitter. What the shit, man?
So, I do want to ask. We both think Carl was winning this match for Joe, but is there a chance, someone mentioned this to me on Twitter, is there a chance that Joe wins and they instead do Red Dragon versus FTR, which they've kind of teased multiple times and never fully...
There's Red Dragon too. You know what? There's an idea for you for Wrestle Purists. Power rank the tag teams that FTR can still wrestle this year. Power rank them.
I froze them, my bad.
There you go. We were just doing it.
You just content planned. That was incredible. Yeah.
Archer and Suzuki. I'd want to look at these.
Yeah, there's a lot. Look, I think it's going to be very interesting.
Jason Foley, absolutely fucking not.
Do you think they're going to? Do you think FTR will be added to the pay-per-view, or do you think they're off the pay-per-view? Too many matches.
I think they're off the pay-per-view, but I think that's okay.
Yeah, I wish that wasn't, but yeah,
I think that's fine. I think you tell them take a little break. Take a break. Sit this one out. But again, like we talked about this again, since the AEW roster started growing, it is okay to take some of these guys and go take a break. You don't have to be on this show. To take a break, sit back. Let's do this instead. So, like right now, you have the Bucks and the Hardys.
Yes, you do.
On Sunday night. Let the Bucks and the Hardys have that. Let them have it. Tell FTR, sit out. Because I do think you're going to find it's going to be someone from Japan. It's going to be FTR. It might be against
I agree.
Gallows and Anderson.
Bro, did you see what Eddie said to Machine Gun? He was on their like vlog thing. And he was like, yeah, I'll see you at Forbidden Door. You guys will get your way on there. Carl's like, yeah, we will.
Yeah, of course you will.
That'll be interesting.
Look, dude, I will never ever forget how the ball. Like when someone asked me 20 years from now, they'll be like, "Hey, Jack, the one time AEW had a partnership with Impact." I'll be like, "Yeah, it was just so fucking Gallows and Anderson could be on Dynamite every goddamn week." That's all it was.
They didn't even
be on AEW without signing AEW contracts.
They didn't even like wrestle a lot either. They just kind of hung around. It fucking ruled.
That was the only thing, the only consistent thing that came from that fucking partnership was Gallows and Anderson on TV every week.
Television stars, brother. All right, the last pay-per-view had 12 matches, 3 on the pre-show.
What's this guy? What is this guy? What's the count?
We're at 11 right now.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was 11. All right.
We only have one announced for the pre-show.
What is it?
You think we have the Hookhausen match?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to add any of these other ones to the pre-show? I'm looking here. So the title matches won't get added, right?
There's been a pay-per-view already where Tony on the day of has moved something to the pre-show, like WWE style, hasn't he?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure I remember at one of the recent shows, they were like, this is on the buy-in now. And you're like, oh, all right.
I don't think any of these matches are getting moved, though,
I would move one. I would move one and go 10. Wait. It's 11 counting Hookhausen, right?
Yeah. So we got 10. We can do 10.
No, I would move another one and do a 9-match main card. If I could. That's just me. I would move another one.
I just don't know what you move because they're all title matches or own matches. And then the other one is, I guess you could do the House of Black one, but I don't think they will.
Let me see what's here. Let me go a little Wikipedia here. Let's pull this up.
It is worth noting, like, this is how they used to do things. They do the countdown. Yes?
Dude, I'd move Jade and Anna Jay to the fucking buy-in.
Title, though, man.
It's a TBS. It's a TV. Yeah, but it's a TV title match. I'd move it to the buy-in.
Yeah.
That's the match. That's the match I'd move. And Anna's not winning.
Yeah, but on the contrary, though, do you not think that match is useful in that it can be like you can break up the longer matches? Because they're probably going to go like 6, 8.
I mean, you do have to let people take a piss.
Come on now, Jack Crosby. It's not lash out.
That was a WWE joke. I did not mean that.
I know.
You know me. I have my bet. I didn't mean that. But seriously though, because it is a TV title. That would be my main reason for moving it.
I personally think it needs to be on the pay-per-view. I think it's especially useful because it breaks up the way this card's formatted. Remember at the last one, the way Ty and Jade added like some range within there? I think that's the way to go. I think if you look at this card, though, how many of these matches really need to be long? Like, seriously, like, I don't think a lot of these need to be particularly extended. I don't know. I mean, Anarchy.
The Hardys and the Bucks are getting 15.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're getting 15.
Hardys and Bucks are getting 15 minimum, right?
Yeah.
Hangman and Punk are getting half an hour minimum.
Yeah.
So that's 45 minutes. Right.
Other than that, like, what else is really going to go long? Triple threat tag does not need to be more than 15 minutes.
How many? Well, here's the thing. How many spots are planned for that fucking Anarchy in the arena ship?
I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned about that deal. I've said this before. I don't want it to just be crowd.
I don't like it.
And,
I don't like it, brother.
I'm
not sure I like it.
I don't know if it's the best usage of those guys.
I think, and I know I might be like, if this isn't the Stadium Stampede match, which I thought, but you can't do it. I think that this match would have been a good Dynamite main event.
I think they're going to do the blow off as Dynamite with blood and guts. I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But
no, you know what? A lot of these matches I'm looking at, I don't see a lot that really need to go long.
I don't either.
Well,
Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but I really don't think a lot of these matches are going to go more than
now,
like.
of course,
4
like
minutes.
as with any professional wrestling show, there's going to be one of these matches that we're going to go, God damn it, that was way too long.
Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah, I'm glad we agree.
Can you imagine Adam back there for the first time going, all right, but listen, at NXT, we used to, and them going, look, man, we don't give a fuck what Triple H told you guys to do.
Bro, they are absolutely good. Look at this card. That's the match that's going long. That's 100% the match that's going long.
It probably is.
It's interesting because if you look at All Out, which everyone loves, All Out, like the lengths on that are as follows. Okay. 13, 12, 11. Lucha Bros Young Bucks got 22. The Battle Royale obviously is longer. Jericho got 20. Punk and Darby was only 16. Main event was only 21. Like, that ain't excessive, bro.
That's good shit, man. See, that's why people get mad at me. Oh, you don't like it. No, man. Fucking pro wrestling match should not go past 20 minutes.
Yeah, I get you.
Miss me with that bullshit. All right, and if you go over 21, 22 to get all right, maybe I'll be lenient, but
you guys don't know, but Jack actually turns off at the 20-minute mark. He texts me and says, "Who won?"
I don't even care if I paid money. If I paid $60, I'll fucking
turn it off.
TV off and be like, all right, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah. He actually watched the Danielson Hangman 6-minute draw. He watched it in three acts like it was the Godfather trilogy. He texted me last week. He said, I'm going to watch the third part of this Hangman, Bryan Danielson.
I'm finally getting around to it.
I'm assuming Bryan doesn't win, he said. But could you imagine?
No, I will agree. When Danielson and Hangman got over, when the match was over, I thought to myself, all right, that's an exception to my rule. That was fun.
That was amazing, yeah.
But because it was such an old school thing where like you hit that point where you start to ask yourself, is this going to go 60 minutes?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are they actually doing this? Because like, if there's a match that you anticipate to be long, you're like, fuck.
That was a slight problem for me because I knew, because there was some people that were hinting at it very, very loudly in the Fightful circle. So I was kind of fucked in that regard. I kind of watched the whole thing knowing they were going 60. That was the one thing.
That stuff missed me that day. So as it's going on and I'm looking at the clock and I'm going, oh, wait a minute. Are they going to...
Amazing match.
I remember my wife looking at me going, what time is it? And I said, I think they're going to wrestle 60 minutes. And then my wife was like, they're going to do what?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, before I forgot to tell you and Shoot a story last night. It's going to blow your fucking mind. So Wednesday, we're watching Dynamite like usual, right? Come back from commercial. And my wife, I was out of the room. I come back in the room. My wife's watching the TV and she goes, who's that? She goes, look at this fat jobber. Like my wife said jobber first. I was like, I'm proud of you. Good job. That was nice. And I look at the TV and I go, all right, honey, let me tell you about JD Drake.
Oh, no.
Let me tell you a little story. I'm like,
did you get the Evolve Rickle books?
I said one of the top in-ring guys in the world right there. And she goes, what? And I said, yeah. She's like, him? I went, yeah. So then I had to go into this full thing. Oh, but just she goes, who's this fat jobber? And I went,
did you get the VHS tapes of Evolve and
I looked
cam footage?
My face when I looked at the TV to see who she was talking about, I went, oh no. I was like in the chat here, I went, oh no. In
all seriousness, how cool is it to see JD getting a shot on TV? Like,
it is
good for him.
It is so good, and I really hope that if there's some room that allows, let the guy do something meaningful.
I think he's going to.
Let him sink his teeth into something.
Speaking of such, on Fight, it says that Eddie and Bryan are working a tag tonight. So you may just see them in that spot because they're in that spot a lot of the late notice tag opponents. I think he's going to get something when Ring of Honor happens. I really do.
I mean, JD Drake as the TNT champion. That's the stuff dreams are made of right there.
Also, shout out to JD because I know, he may not be body beautiful, but have you seen he's been busting his ass, man. He's been losing a lot of weight. Good for JD. God bless him. He reminds me of old school pro wrestling, with the hair and shit.
That's where he gets me, because that's the shit. Like that guy, like a guy like that. That's I look at someone like him and I go, that's a professional wrestler.
Yeah, he's great. So is Anthony Henry too. To be clear, Anthony Henry's tremendous.
Anthony
All
Henry.
right, Jack. Any final comments, thoughts, plugs, promotions, all that good stuff, pal?
No, maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Yeah. So tomorrow we'll be doing the Dynamite review. So if you catch it and you want to review it, then same time, pal.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
Okay, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed last night's draft edition. Many grins ahead. I think we're even doing a games night tomorrow on Twitch. We're doing a lot of different stuff here. And we're trying to make Double or Nothing Week special for you guys. I hope it's worked thus far. We're only getting started, though. Dynamite tonight. Please enjoy it. And we'll see you tomorrow for the review, right, Jack? Well, that's what the plan is for now.
Yeah, I should be back here tomorrow. I have nothing to do for 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, folks, we'll see you for that. But in the meantime, enjoy this outro. All hell.